Well, there's always another weed, and I'm sure that some of you are familiar with this purple oxalis. Glad to put that away and get it burnt. Well, I'd like to just show you really one or two things in containers. This is almost midsummer, but this is the time to enjoy containers, but it's not too late to pot a few things too. This is one we actually did earlier, if you like, but this will look good later in the year when it gets its autumn colour on this cornice, midwinter fire, and then all the way through the winter. So we'll return to that one later. The other one that's evergreen or ever black is the Ophiopogon in front of us. Now this began with a plant like that, about that sort of size. It was potted on into a container and then potted on again. And so it still makes a pretty effective plant just on its own and needs half shade really. So we'll go across. We've got a few things over here just like to show you, and the of course all containers want a bit of water in the summer, and I think I mentioned before that if you use a terracotta then you can water them to your heart's content, but this is beginning to look to me like it needs a bit of feeding. That's a Conocloa macra albo aurea. Bit of a mouthful, but it's at its peak now, and when the campanula here is looking good too, they combine with each other. Just to go back quickly to a few weeks ago when we actually potted these up, I said, well, maybe we should have a little competition between Geranium Mavis Simpson and that one is called Geranium Roseanne. Now Mavis Simpson had a bit of a head start because it was undercover. Roseanne, well, it's beginning to flower now, only just. So at the moment Mavis Simpson is in the lead, but this is much the hardier type, and obviously it's a blue, lovely blue with a large flower. On to some grasses. I won't say this is one I've done earlier, this is one that we're looking to do. And I've cleaned out a frosted curls, a Carex frosted curls that I did earlier there, and that's what I'm going to do, is to pot it in here. You can see how I've made room for that and potted that up. I'll put some more compost in there and then watch it grow during the summer. And it grows and it weeps all the way down the side, which is really dramatic in the wind all the way through the winter. There's different Carex in here and Stipa tenuissima. This one you could, if you want to just have something for a little bit of a show for a short time, or you don't want to put it in the garden until a bit later, just put it in a container and enjoy that through the summer. That's Carex dipsacea. Carex flagellifera, I think this one, and Stipa tenuissima. Now going across there, this is an Aster and a Rudbeckia for later in the year. This actually is something that I did a couple of years ago, and I think I slightly miscalculated because the Miscanthus Morning Light, which is really a great plant for the garden, it gets a little bit tall in here, particularly if it flowers. And I've got Geranium Roseanne in the foreground, but I'm going to do something I've not done before and don't normally recommend. So I'm just going to see what this will, if this will take to pruning a little bit. I should probably do it rather more carefully than that, but we'll keep it shorter, and there'll be some more foliage make up. But you will see there has been clipped, but I think it will grow away from that and be about the right scale. So lastly then, this is more exciting of course when you get to the point where you can try and combine different plants. This is Arundo Donax macrophylla, macrophylla being large leaves, and you can see how blue it is, particularly if you have a fair amount of fertilizer in it. I should really have it in a slightly larger container than this, but I've split one of these Euchera prints with the purple leaves, and I think what I'm going to do, just for a short term, really for the rest of this year, is to put these in the front here, almost to make cuttings material, and I can plant them in the garden later, but at least I can keep an eye on the watering with these, and I think this is going to look pretty good later on, and we'll come back and have a look at that with a few other things later on in the year.